Oke, selamat pagi Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Mungkin saya buka lagi webinarnya. Terima kasih banyak atas kehadirannya yang sangat tepat waktu. Hari ini kita akan mengadakan webinar lagi bersama GS Katalis dan kita meng-invite salah satu top ISV atau top undernya dari GS Katalis untuk bisa sharing knowledge produk dan juga kolaborasi antara GS Katalis dan juga Workato. Nah, before that, maybe let me introduce you to my speakers for today. I have Pragya as a solution architect from Workato. It's very nice to have her for this webinar. And also there's Elmo for the second speaker that he will introduce us regarding our collaborations between Workato and also GS Catalyst. So nantinya apabila Bapak dan Ibu punya pertanyaan, mau di bahasa Indonesia kan, mau di bahasa Inggris kan, feel free untuk bisa nanti tolong diketikkan di kolom chat. Mohon bantuannya. Oke, mungkin di tengah-tengah panelis kita presentasi or in the middle of Pragya presentation, if you have any questions, feel free to put in the chat box. That's the information that I need to share. But before that, I'll inform to you regarding our agenda. The first one, opening, that already done by me. Thank you very much. The opening sudah dilakukan by Yena. Terima kasih banyak. Agenda kedua, nanti kita akan dilanjutkan dengan introduction product from Pragya. And after that, we will have Elmo to share the collaboration between Workato and SOGS Catalyst. And after that, we will have a question and answer Q&A sessions. As always, we will choose three questions, the best questions that will be answered by our speaker for today. And last but not the least, it will be a feedback form. We really need your feedback from all the webinars, right? Karena kita membutuhkan suggestions, saran dari Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Mungkin nextnya kita supposed to be harusnya membahas tentang tema-tema tertentu yang mungkin menarik nih untuk Bapak dan Ibu sekalian dan closing. Alright, so that's all the opening from me. I'll give it to my first speaker. There's already Pragya ready, right? Pragya, are you ready there?
Yes, all good.
Okay.
Thank you.
The first agenda, I'll give it to you.
Mm.
Thank you.
Okay, so let's get started. Today, we're going to be taking a look at some of these stories from Workato customers directly regarding finance, HR, and IT. The goal is that we share how Workato is creating a unified system and automating processes end to end today. So that's what the session is going to be about. Before we start the sharing of the stories, I wanted to do a quick introduction to Workato. We are a enterprise orchestration platform that is available as an iPaaS solution, integration platform as a service solution, currently with 20,000 customers across the globe, 10,000 pre-built connectors on the platform. That means we're able to go into different applications you have, whether it is a SaaS application or an on-premises application or a database system or even LLMs. We can go and connect them all together using our pre-built connectors that we have on the platform. And with those pre-built connectors, our 20,000 customers have automated more than 900,000 use cases. And what they have done? They've actually published those use cases to us, which is also available on the platform for you to copy as a template and start from. So if you're thinking how customers are, for example, using Salesforce or SAP, those are the examples that you can look at on the platform and be able to build your automation workflows from there, not from scratch, but from a template, which is live with another customer in production. Those are all available for reference on the platform. And yes, we do have use cases across all industries. We go vertically across all the major industries. And we do also have use cases across functionally. So we're going to be talking about three of those today, finance, HR, and IT. But that's the spread of the use case that we have horizontally and vertically both. And on top of that, the other thing I just want to highlight is we are recognized by Gartner as a leader in the iPaaS category for 7 consecutive years as well. So we've been in the market for 12 years and we are servicing across industries and across processes. With that said, I am ready to jump into our use cases for today. Like we said, we'll begin with finance automations with Workato. And again, if you have questions, please continue to drop them in the chat so we can take a look at the end of it. So when we look at the finance automation use cases with Workato, we see a trend. This is a data from our platform for the last few years. We see a lot of order to cash processes being automated. And that is quite obvious as well, because this is the process that brings revenue to the company, right? From a point an order is received to product and services that are delivered to the customer, and then they pay to us in cash. So that's the process we are talking about. And we also know that most buying behaviors have become digital. So there's definitely a need to automate more and more order to cash processes. So we are seeing that trend in automation space for sure. And we're also seeing a lot of procure to pay processes being automated. So this is where, brings and services are brought inside the company. We buy those. And the process could be a purchase request form that needs to be approved internally, a purchase order that needs to be created. Then there are invoices that are received, goods that are received. We need to verify, we need to do the three-way matching, and finally do the final payment settlement as well. So that's one area. In fact, for invoice processing, we are noticing a lot of AI being used for invoice processing, and I'll show you those in example as well. Then the other one that we are seeing, that's a trend, it's a growth, is record to report. Now, what does that mean? How do we turn the raw transactional data into meaningful financial insights? And this data is scattered across the financial systems. We need to consolidate that data, validate that data, reconcile it, and then generate reports from it. And Workato has been used quite heavily in this space as well on the financial reconciliation side. So let's jump into our examples now. We are talking about order to cash, and this can be extended to quote to cash as well as a process. My first example today is a Property Guru. It's a leading prop tech company, best known for their property marketplace. So if you've ever, come to Singapore, Malaysia, Vietnam, you might have gone to Property Guru for rentals and for buying properties as well. Very popular. They're using Workato. And the problem that they had was around the sales order creation process. So they had everything that you would need. They had Salesforce, they had Oracle NetSuite, they had Slack, they had custom applications, and then they had a lot of other tools. But the process was still manual and broken. So what the sales team did, they went into Salesforce, they updated the sales order, and then they notified the finance team over a Slack or an email that, hey, finance team, can you please help me create an order, sales order record in NetSuite? And sales finance team did not like logging into NetSuite. I think we hear a lot of those, ERP applications not being very user friendly as well. But already, so then there is the accuracy of sales order dependent on the manual communication between sales team and finance team. So what was happening? A lot of back and forth, data mismatch, errors, and no audit of the process just to create the sales order properly. And similar problem was on the purchase order side as well. There was no centralized place to manage purchase orders, and finance team was absolutely overwhelmed. Like if you heard finance team complaining, Property Guru was going through the same problem as well. So what we did, we definitely integrated the applications on Salesforce, NetSuite, Slack, and all. but we also integrated 42 other applications using the same Workato platform. One platform, one solution for 42 application integration. And in terms of use cases, we went from sales order creation to purchase order creation, even to marketing department doing campaign management automation with Workato, saving a lot of, we saved 10,000 hours of manual hours, the risk reduced by 30%, error rate dropped by 25%, and so on. But what I want to highlight is that one solution is all you need to integrate all your applications stacked together and do automation, not just in finance, but across other departments as well. That's an example for that. Then the next one is Terminus. This is a marketing tech firm based in the US. And they actually use Workato for accounts receivable process. So before Workato, it was all manual. Whenever a new customer was created, there was a credit check that had to be done in SAP. Now, if you guys are all, struggling with credit check, give me a thumbs up. So I know that how many of you are also thinking about credit check automation. But so Terminus actually used Workato to automate the credit check process in SAP. Once that was done, it sends the invoice out to the customer by itself. So it automates that process of sending the invoice, and it chases the customer for payment. It sends the reminders for payment. If the payment is done, it reconciles that, it updates the status in SAP and updates an AR report automatically as well. If the payment is not done, it does an escalation of delayed payment and puts that into another escalation report. So the entire accounts receivable process is automated via Workato, and it's doing all the running around. Obviously, the hours saved that you can see on the screen, 1,000 hours saved, improved customer experience, cash flow predictability was near 0% risk of error, and so on. But what's most important I want to highlight is that we actually replaced 3 middleware with one Workato. That alone saved 30,000 annually on the license cost. Because again, one platform for multiple use cases for all the integrations that you need. That's what Workato offers. Then the other story I have is from Posset. It's a data science software company in the US. And they are actually using Workato for deal compliance check. So before a deal can be closed, there is a compliance review, which is mandatory. And they're very smartly using AI for doing that. So they've got the compliance records in Jira, and they're using AWS Bedrock, all integrated with Workato. And AI is doing a deal compliance check and sending that information to the user on Slack. It could be Microsoft Teams as well, for the user to make the final approval. Now, if you have similar compliance scenario where the compliance is a huge compliance checklist to go through, lots of documents to read through, then you can think of using AI, similar to POSIT, that how they did that. And then I move on to procure to pay scenarios. And here my example is Atlassian, very popular company known for Jira, Confluence, Trello, and Loom softwares. They're also using Workato. And they're using it for end-to-end finance automations. So for example, the 3 use cases I'll talk about today is closure of purchase orders. Basically, finance team creates an Excel of open POs. Workato reads them and sends reminders on Slack to users to go to all the stakeholders to help them close the POs. So close the PO, close the PO, close the PO. That's the part Workato is doing. And once the payment is received in Coupa system, Workato actually goes and updates the status back in Excel that this PO is closed, and also updates the ERP system. So with that, their accounting book closure has come down to 3 hours compared to 8 days before. That's the speed of account closure with Workato. Then the second story is How do they validate vendors? Here, Workato is actually integrating. This is a special requirement for Poland. So Workato is integrating with Poland government's website when a vendor is to be paid, checking that whether the vendor is blacklisted or not. So Workato doesn't just integrate things internally, it can actually integrate with external systems as well. And that has brought their vendor validation down to 2 minutes from about 10 plus minutes earlier. And in the third scenario, they're using Workato for invoice status check, which AP team must do before they pay the invoices. We are integrating Jira, we are integrating ERP, Slack altogether. And this process of checking whether the invoice is validated, whether the invoice is paid, has come down to 2 minutes from a 15 minutes process earlier. So when you think about all these scenarios Atlassian has automated with Workato, not only we did an end-to-end finance automation, as a result, they are running 9,000 financial transactions per month, saving 25,000 man hours annually. We have also integrated so many applications under the hood. But most important thing I want to highlight today is that these workflows were built in less than 3 weeks' time. So if you, for example, decide to do the automation today, you could probably be live by end of November already. That's the speed of automation we are talking about. And on top of that, 49 people from finance team were involved in building the workflows. So with Workato, we make our technology simple, low code, no code, so that IT and business can collaborate together in doing the development work. And this is an example where 49 people from finance team could build parts of the workflows they are responsible for, bringing the development time down to 3 weeks. So you don't have to depend on IT for everything. IT will have a role to play, set up the platform, set up the security and governance, and invite business users, come build your own workflows. It is such a simple tool to learn and implement. That's what Workato brings. Then my next story is Jollibee, best known for their fried chicken, a company that has grown organically and based in Philippines. But as they grew, their tech stack also grew together. They actually were running on SAP SRM, and there were four other ERP systems, all working in silos. So yes, the systems were disconnected, a problem that we solved with Workato, but I want to bring out a unique use case here. They were struggling with users not being familiar with ERP. So they struggled with purchase requisition approval, which they called as shopping cart approval. And their approval logic, their approval matrix was often ignored. The approval policies were never met. They were non-compliant. They ended up buying things that they shouldn't have bought, that led to huge financial losses as well. So as a company, you're buying things which you shouldn't be buying because we skipped the approval on those items. And to solve that problem, they thought about Workato as a solution. And what Workato did, we created a mobile notification for the users using Workato app. So approvers, Workato would look at the approval matrix. This is who needs to approve for these items. Look at the org chart, that who is in this role, who is, for example, the VP at the moment that needs to approve. Send the notification to all the users on their mobile phone, so they no longer need to log in into this ERP or that ERP. They just approve on the phone, and it syncs the approval back in the system. That alone led to 88% gain in the efficiency in the purchase requisition process and 100% adherence to approval policy on purchase requisition. So very simple. If you hear your finance team complaining about, I don't like this ERP system, I don't know where to log in, I don't know where to click, then yes, we can create an interface for users, which is mobile friendly. So it's on the go, and let them take actions on the mobile phone while Workato syncs it back to the ERP system. That's what Jollibee did. Then another example, this time from Australia, it's an insurance company called Helia. What they did, they actually are using AI for reading invoices. Now, I did say earlier that AI is extensively being used in invoice processing because invoices are unstructured. They could be coming in any format, and because invoices could be coming in any language as well. With Workato, we have intelligent document processing that combines the OCR, optical character recognition, with AI together, or we could use a third-party LLM. In this case, they used AWS Bedrock to basically, when invoice comes, it uses the LLM to read and extract the metadata, and then it sends a Teams message to the approver. Once the approver approves it and reviews everything looks good, it pushes it to the SAP system. That's all run by Workato. So Workato is running between the LLM, between the user, and between SAP to get the invoice saved in SAP properly. And this has already saved 35% of their time in invoice processing with AI. So that's another very good example of how we can use AI in finance. So it all really comes down to the fact, with all those examples, that how do we want the finance automation to look like? We could be at different levels in our journey. We could say that right now, I just want my systems to connect, systems to talk to each other. So Salesforce to NetSuite or SAP, whatever those are, that alone will bring a lot of efficiency gain. But you could then think, you know what, I want to go into level two. I've done with my integrations, but I want orchestration. I want automation. So you could think of, oh, you know what? I want to integrate my payment system. I want to integrate my data lake, my data warehouse for insights and reports. And that's where ideas starts growing, and we go to level two. And level three is where we want to be, but very few of us are there, is autonomous finance workflows, where we actually have AI agents running the process autonomously based on their understanding. That's the level three we want to be. There are few customers who are there, but not a lot at the moment. So that's the journey. We can decide how we want to take it. What Workato has to offer is, regardless of your journey, whether you're at the enterprise data integration layer, whether you're talking about finance application integration, whether you're talking about business process end-to-end orchestration, or you're talking about enhancing user experience, for example, mobile-based approvals and so on, we can offer you one solution, one platform that can be used regardless of your journey for an end to end. It could be at integration, automation, orchestration, or even modernization. That's what Workato brings, a single solution for all those use cases. That was a wrap on the finance side. I will now take a look at the HR transformation use cases with Workato. And you might be familiar with Scoot. It's a budget airline of Singapore, and they are using Workato as well. So the problem with Scoot was that they have 2,000 employees, but most of them are on the field. By field, I actually mean airplane. They're on the flight. So they do not have laptops, but they require some kind of HR processes. They need to apply for leaves, they need to apply for new uniforms, they need to apply for office access because they can't come to office otherwise. All of those processes are running around, but they don't have a laptop. So what Scoot did, they said, I'm not building an app for it. I'm actually going to use a bot. They used a third-party bot called OZBot, and from that bot, everything is integrated with Workato via Workato. So if someone submits a leave application, it gets routed to Workday, it gets approved, and the user receives a notification back on the bot itself. It gets, if there is other kind of request that requires ServiceNow integration, Workato is doing that as well. So basically, Workato is the nervous system that runs around and does all the integration, and Aussie Bot is the interface for the users. So if you have, for example, such scenarios where you have field workers who have to go out, these kind of solutions then make sense. Now, what is the most important part I want to highlight is that building these automations took 2 to 3 days for each process flow, and that was built by the HR team. Again, another example, the ease of building and the speed of building. Scoot was able to achieve with Workato. And they actually automated more than 30 HR functions. So it's pretty much end-to-end HR automation using Workato. The next one is Grab, quite popular, needs no introduction. And the biggest problem with Grab was they're on a hyper growth mode. They're growing. They have 6,000 employees and more coming on board. So just doing the employee onboarding was so difficult. HR and IT team, they had lots of manual running around for provisioning the equipments, for making sure the emails are set up and working. All of those are things, nuances of onboarding a new employee. And they had to do a lot of those. So they looked at Workato as a solution. They're using it for end-to-end HR onboarding process. And in this case, instead of a third-party bot, they're actually using Workato bot. So we do have our own bots that can run inside a Slack or Microsoft Teams, and we can have similar functions automated using Workato as well. So Workato is not just then the nervous system, it also becomes the face for the users to interact with through the bots that we have. So that's the story of Grab. Let's move on to the IT and support automation use cases with Workato. Here, this is an example. This is a very large e-commerce firm from South Korea that does a retail business, food delivery business, over-the-top streaming services for video, audio, media, and so on. So you can think of them as like Shoppees and Lazadas of South Korea. And the struggle with them was the number of tickets submitted and processed per day by their Zendesk team. That ranged from 1,000 to about 10,000 tickets a day. So, how many people are you going to hire for managing the tickets? And the company is growing. It's an e commerce firm. So, everyone's submitting tickets from their e commerce apps. So, they chose Workato for automating the process of how a ticket is routed to the right agent, how a ticket is translated, because again, this is a South Korean company, but across different geographies as well. So you're receiving tickets in different languages. Also for translation, how the ticket can be escalated, and the real-time reporting on the status, and all of those scenarios were automated using Workato. So we basically made sure that the right ticket is routed to the right agent, and the agent can then find the right information, because we also integrated their internal database, the source of truth, for the agent to look around. When this happens, what do I do? All of that is now integrated. And with that simple integration, the ticket resolution time came down by 73%. So we are doing 73% faster resolution on the tickets. And we needed 52% less support agents there to handle the tickets, plus 100% security on personal data handling, because now Workato masks and shows only the information to the agents that they are supposed to see. It handles the security of data as well. And as a result, the CSAT score went up to 95 from 89. That is really hard to achieve. That's a huge jump in CSAT score. But this company has done that using Workato. The other use case that they have done, so they've done end-to-end support ticket automation process using Workato. This is the other one, just to show that sometimes for certain cases like food or batteries, return items, lost items, we also need to check against company policy. How are those to be handled? So Workato also integrates other knowledge sources to match a ticket to the correct policy based on the item type. And it helps the agents to take quicker action. Does it need to be solved? Does it need to be escalated, and so on? So if it's a simple policy match, Workato is helping to close the ticket without manual intervention. No agent involved. It looks as, oh, this is what the ticket is asking for. These are my policies. It's straightforward. Send the response out, close the ticket. Zero touch ticket closing, touchless follow ups. That's what Workato is doing. And if it needs to be escalated, then it escalates to the right agent as well. So that's what we are talking about with being able to achieve with Workato. And finally, The other area they're using Workato a lot is around the translation side. So they receive 4,000 tickets every day in foreign language. That's the daily load. And Workato is helping to bulk translate those tickets and then update their Zendesk with English language tickets for everyone's review as well. So that's a huge volume that we are doing with Workato, and it cannot be done manually for sure. And the last example I have for IT and support is Samsara. It's an Internet of Things company based in the US. They actually are using agents. So when I talked about the third level of automation, getting completely autonomous, that's what Samsara is doing. They're not just using AI, they are using agents to handle tickets. And they actually were using another agent before using Workato agents. They were using MoveWorks for automations, but that agent could only handle 20% of the tickets. With Workato agent, they're handling 85% of the tickets. 85% of the tickets handled by the agent, that is actually 4,392 tickets a month. And what they also realized with Workato agentic solution is that it's very quick to fine tune and roll the agent out for production use case. So they could also go wall to wall, meaning IT today, sales agent tomorrow, marketing agent the next day. That's on the plan because the agents can use Workato's connectivity and orchestration capabilities to take actions in the system across the ecosystem. So that's the strength, and Samsara is one of our agentic solution in the market right now. So, and there are more stories to talk about. I know I had about 30 to 40 minutes to cover it. So we'll go towards the final few stories. And here I'm not talking about a process. I'm talking about, for example, SAP. Most of us have SAP systems. And Zulik Pharma is a century-old healthcare pharmacy firm based in Singapore. They are running on SAP ECC. A lot of us are on SAP ECC. We are not migrated yet. But the problem with SAP ECC is integration. And they used Workato to integrate SAP ECC with their e-commerce platform called EasyRx. Not just for the integration of EasyRx, they used Workato. They used it for entire pallet management automation process. And they are also replacing a lot of RPA-based integration with Workato for two reasons. Number one, any RPA-based integration is fragile. It's UI dependent, right? If the UI changes, the integration breaks. So it takes a lot of effort to maintain an RPA-based integration versus an API-based integration that Workato can do. Plus the complexity of RPA-based integration. So in our case, we replaced 135 RPAs with just 2 or 3 Workato workflow recipes. 1,000 lines of code in each, down to 30, 40 steps in Workato. That's the simplification we are talking about. So why make things complicated when you can simplify it with a single platform, single solution? Then the next one I want to talk about is Arda Group. It is a Luxembourg-based metal and glass packaging company. They have 20 ERP systems. 20. We're not talking about 4 and 5 anymore. 20, including ECCs, including HANAs, including other brands as well, and 9 different integration tools. Everything, every integration solution, iPaaS solution you think of, they had it. And what they did, so they were they were doing migration from ECC to HANA. They said, okay, what is going to be our integration strategy? Which of the 9 tools are we going to use, or are we going to use all 9 tools together? Such a mess, right? So we actually did a work demo to them. We went in, we demoed 5 POC use cases in 2.5 hours, much faster than any other competition. And we were able to replace 9 integration tools with 1 Workato tool in this example right here. So our first use case is live, and they have 900 scenarios they've identified in the pipeline to do with Workato. And the speed at which they are automating waste management approval was built in less than a day. That's what we are bringing to the market. A simple tool that helps you automate faster and replace the need for different point solution with a single technology. And the last story today is about Krafton. It is a South Korean video gaming company, very popular for Player Unknown's Battlegrounds. So if there are any video gamers here today, I think you might be knowing about the PUBG franchisee. They are already on S4 HANA. So first was ECC, second was a migration use case. This one is already on S4 HANA. And they were using SAP BTP or CI for integration purposes. But the challenge was building those integrations and scaling those integrations took a lot of time and a lot of effort and a lot of skill set to do it. And this is an example where they actually chose Workato to replace their SAP CI flows. And just with that, we were able to simplify with 70% fewer steps to achieve the same automation. And Workato's low code, no code interface allowed the non IT team. We have 20 people. This project is still going on. So we have 20 people at the moment who is actively building automations on Workato platform who are non IT. So, third example where we talk about IT and business collaborating together to build automations on the same form. But what came out from Krafton's story, I would like to share, and this is from Krafton themselves, that when you choose your solution, we often take look at the tip of the iceberg. We look at, oh, yes, solution A can do this, solution B can do this, and maybe A is cheaper than B, so we go with solution A. But what we don't see it, what lies under it. What is the cost of running that? Like, what are the manual efforts required? What are the manpower efforts required? What are the other cost of running that solution? Maybe from an infrastructure perspective, maybe from license perspective, the running cost of the license and so on. So we must also see what lies under. That gives us the total cost of ownership, the complexity, and the challenges that comes with it. And where Workat we place ourselves and we are very proud of is the fact that the ease and speed of integration with our low code, no code experience, with the vast library of resources we have, with the AI assisted co-pilots we have, we are not we do not believe in hidden charges. So we believe that what you see is what you get, and that is how it should be for our customers too. And then there are many, many more stories to go on, like all on our website. You can go look at the department or filter by industry and see what those stories are. I picked up a few for the session today, but I would like to wrap up with a question. Why Workato? If you're thinking, why are we talking and looking at Workato at all? And instead of, so let's review that. We are talking about Workato because it brings to you, it connects everything in your world. It has 10,000 plus pre-built connectors. And if those are not enough, we can build SDK connectors also. So on the right-hand side, you can see some of the logos of the products we connect, but those are just some. There are 10,000 of those that we have a connector for already. Whether you're talking about SaaS application, on-prem application, databases, data warehouses, data lakes, LLM, unstructured data sitting on a document, media file, or even traditional systems like mainframe systems or custom built systems, we can connect them all. Plus, we can automate any use case. We are pretty agnostic to the process as a software. So this is just some statistics from our Workato Index report 2024, looking at what people have been automating on the platform. A lot of data operations were automated, also because AI and agents rise of that needs well connected data. So we saw a lot of those, a lot of IT support of areas automated, finance and accounting automated, HR automated, and so on. So anything can be automated on a low code, no code platform. So on the right hand side, this is how automation on Workato looks like, where we can have API integration, we can have on-premises integration, we can have SaaS integration, data integration, chatbots for human in the loop, event stream scenarios, all on a single interface. all on a low code, no code interface. And because of that, from the reports we see, 44% of the automation done last year were from the non IT team on the platform. It's all done on a single platform, whether you're talking about only orchestration with AI, or you're talking about agentic orchestration with agents. We offer everything on a single platform with full security and governance. We've got all the industry level certifications in place. We are running on a commercial cloud at the moment. We do have choices for virtual private hosting and gov clouds as well. But at the moment, we are on commercial cloud. So everything is handled by us: fault tolerance, load balancing, high availability, auto scaling. These are all our responsibility. We handle that. And we've got all the major certifications like SOC 2, ISO, GDPR, HIPAA compliance, and all. So the question that really comes down to is probably not why Workato, why not Workato? You've got 10,000 plus pre-built connectors, you've got 900,000 pre-built use cases, you've got a software that allows you to collaborate with the non-IT team, business team as well. 44% of them are developing already. And as a company, we are very dedicated to AI and innovation. We have our own AI research lab based in the US with scientists and PhDs people all working on it to make the software even more future ready. So that's who we are. That's where we are heading. And thank you everyone for the time today. I hope you enjoyed the session, found it useful. Please leave your questions in the chat. And you can always reach out to us through GS Catalyst and ICS team to learn more about Workato. They are our partners in the region. And now over to Pak Elmo for more details of how we can work together. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pragya. It's very informative. And also like our title for today, automating the enterprise backbone, unifying finance, HR, and also IT system. So jadi Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, itu tidak hanya untuk finance, untuk HR. Tadi kita melihat ada beberapa nama, ada Scoot, ada Grab, ada healthcare industry. So it's multi-industry. Workato bisa masuk ke dalam semua industri dan mungkin semua industri membutuhkan Workato. Terima kasih. Thank you very much, Pragya, for your information regarding your product. Next, we will have Elmo as our representative from GS Catalyst. Nanti Mas Elmo juga akan menjelaskan mengenai kolaborasi antara GS Catalyst, ICS Compute, dan juga Workato. And bagaimana kita menyampaikan not just licenses or product, but services yang akan kita tawarkan kepada Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Kepada Mas Elmo, dipersilahkan.
All right, thank you, Yena. Thank you, Pragya, for delivering such an insightful presentation on how Workato can help us all transform our businesses. The next session will be, I will deliver this next session in Indonesian, if you don't mind. Jadi, saya akan menjelaskan sedikit overview tentang gimana Workato bisa improve bisnis bapak-bapak dan ibu-ibu dan bagaimana sih mengintegrasikannya ke bisnis proses bapak dan ibu yang existing dan sistem yang existing. Oke. Sebelumnya kita udah lihat dari presentasi barusan bagaimana Workato meningkatkan revenue perusahaan. Ada beberapa contoh otomasi yang dilakukan dan use case-nya mulai dari accelerated O2C cycle, di mana untuk customer itu kita melakukan otomasi workflow dari order receipt sampai ke cash. Jadi cash flow bisa lebih cepat dan payment recording juga bisa lebih cepat. Order to cash-nya, jadi use case-nya adalah order to cash is the top use case. 72,5% dari semua otomasi dan meningkat 233% tahun ke tahun. Lalu untuk faster revenue recognition. Jadi ini di achieve dengan melakukan sinkronisasi sales order dan billing workflow tanpa ada lag yang biasanya terjadi, tunggu-tungguan yang biasanya terjadi dari proses manual antara CRM dan ERP. Use case-nya adalah properti guru bisa achieve faster revenue recognition dengan mengintegrasikan 42 aplikasi sekaligus. Lalu ada optimized deal closure, di mana otomasi itu melakukan otomasi memvalidasi data deal terhadap compliance rules. Jadi proses ini kan biasanya dilakukan manual ya. Ini bisa dilakukan secara otomatis melalui Workato. Use case-nya adalah tadi dijelaskan bahwa POSIT bisa close deal lebih cepat dan mengachieve proactive due diligence dengan mengintegrasikan tools mereka Salesforce, Jira, dan Slack dalam satu workflow yang otomatis. Lalu ada juga predictable cash flow di mana account receivable AR itu diotomasi. Jadi invoicing bisa dilakukan dengan cepat, payment recording bisa dilakukan dengan segera gitu, dan follow up itu bisa dilakukan secara otomatis. Nah, ini terjadi pada Terminus, di mana Terminus itu memperoleh cash flow predictability dengan near zero risk of error by automating accounts receivable. Nah, itu adalah bagaimana Workato bisa meningkatkan revenue. Lalu untuk lalu Workato juga mengoptimalkan operasional dengan cara significant time savings, mempersingkat waktu operasi dengan sangat signifikan ya. Jadi dengan cara mengotomasikan sinkronisasi data sehingga nggak harus dilakukan oleh staff. Jadi staff bisa mengerjakan hal yang lain, nggak ngerjain data entry yang manual dan repetitif. Jadi dan ini terjadi pada properti guru dan terminus. Properti guru bisa bisa save sampai 10.000 jam dalam 1 tahun. Terminus bisa save sampai 1.000 jam kerja dalam 1 tahun. Nah, itu salah satu cara dia mengurangi jam kerja untuk meningkatkan mengoptimalkan operasional. Lalu kecepatan untuk financial close. Jadi mulai dari record sampai reporting itu dilakukan secara otomatis gitu. Dan proses accrual itu bisa dilakukan secara otomatis. Dia menurunkan waktu closing time pada akhir bulan. Jadi proses-proses yang biasanya dilakukan secara manual gitu di akhir bulan atau proses cut off perhitungan finansial itu bisa dilakukan dengan sangat cepat gitu. Jadi downtime yang tadinya mungkin 8 jam gitu bisa jadi cuma sekedar setengah jam gitu. Contohnya terjadi pada Atlassian. Jadi Atlassian itu bisa closing accounting books dalam 3 jam. Salah satu klien itu melaporkan bisa sampai 90% lebih cepat dalam closing book yang tadi saya bilang. Lalu melakukan konsolidasi infrastruktur. Jadi Workato bisa mengganti integrasi point to point yang selama ini biasa dilakukan dengan legacy system. Ah, itu semua jadi satu platform aja, Workato gitu. Contoh kasusnya adalah ketika Terminus mengganti 3 solusi middleware ah, dengan Workato, di- dia bisa save sampai $30.000 tiap tahun. Lalu Workato juga membantu salah satu customer menghindari sampai uh, $9 juta dari total cost of ownership selama 3 tahun dengan dengan migrasi dari SAP PIPO. Lalu untuk employee experience, uh, Workato juga bisa mengotomasi transaksi HR dan proses onboarding. Nah, ini meningkatkan efisiensi, meningkatkan moral. Contohnya adalah Grab bisa bisa save sampai 3.000 man hour dan membuat proses onboarding 30 kali lebih cepat. Scoot juga tadi case yang bagus, itu dia bisa achieve sampai 80% employee satisfaction dengan proses HR yang uh, lebih mudah. Oke, lalu terakhir adalah risk reduction. Jadi bagaimana Workato menurunkan resiko dari usaha. Yang pertama adalah dengan meningkatkan kualitas data. Jadi dengan membuat transfer data antar sistem jadi otomatis dengan data transformation yang built-in dalam platformnya Workato itu menurunkan resiko kesalahan manusia, manual error. Nah, ini contohnya adalah ketika properti guru melihat 25% penurunan dari error dan 30% penurunan resiko dengan mensinkronisasikan sales order dan billing. Nah, ini lumayan signifikan ya, terutama untuk bisnis-bisnis yang dealing with resiko. Lalu compliance and control. Jadi dengan cara Workato apa namanya menjalankan business rule dan kebijakan-kebijakan secara langsung di dalam workflow-nya. Jadi nanti jadi bapak-bapak ibu-ibu itu bisa bisa membuat bisnis bisa memasukkan bisnis rule dan proses yang udah ada, SOP yang udah ada ke dalam workflow ini gitu. Dan bisa dilakukan dengan mudah. Contohnya adalah ketika Jollibee mencapai 100% adherence terhadap approval limit dan kontrol. Dan ketika Atlassian melakukan otomasi validasi vendor-vendor di Polandia, uh, bagaimana mereka itu authenticate authentic atau tidak sebelum mereka melakukan pembayaran. Oke, dan terakhir adalah data governance and security. Jadi ini dilakukan dengan cara memberikan fitur-fitur enterprise grade untuk mengamankan data-data yang sensitif. Jadi Workato ini SOX ready dan memiliki built-in security control seperti data masking dan real-time audit. Customer juga ada juga customer support automation yang dilindungi oleh masking PII data. Jadi PII itu personally itu adalah intinya PII itu informasi personal yang bisa bikin orang ini ketahuan gitu identitasnya online gitu. Nah, ini bisa di masking sama Workato. Sekarang kita masuk ke GS Catalyst. Jadi GS Catalyst itu adalah inisiatif dari ICS Compute dalam bentuk marketplace. Jadi untuk membantu mempercepat uh, procurement dari prinsipal-prinsipal kami. Nah, bagaimana sih GS Catalyst mengempower bisnis dengan Workato? Itu pertama melalui planning dan assessment, kita punya tim untuk melakukan konsultasi. Lalu implementasinya kita punya tim professional service untuk melakukan implementasi Workato gitu. Jadi nggak cuma tidak hanya license aja, tapi kita juga punya tim yang ready. Kita kita bisa assess dulu kebutuhannya apa aja yang mesti dilakukan untuk untuk mengintegrasikan Workato, harus migration, harus mengkonekkan aplikasi yang udah ada itu bagaimana. Nah, itu kita bisa provide. Kita juga provide managed service 24 jam, monitoring proaktif, incident response, dan ongoing optimization. Dan kita juga provide training untuk tim IT dari customer bagaimana menggunakan Workato, membangun workflow dan mengintegrasikannya ke daily operation. Ini sekilas tentang GS Catalyst Marketplace. Kenapa kenapa marketplace gitu? Karena kita fleksibel dan agile. Pertama, terus kedua itu kita ada lebih dari 100 ISV. Uh, Workato adalah salah satu ISV utama kami, prinsipal utama kami, tapi kita ada 100 lebih gitu. Yang menjawab use case dari berbagai macam sisi. Lalu kita juga bisa mengoptimalkan cost dari integrasi. Kita punya engineer yang certified, transaksinya juga fleksibel untuk bisnis global. Jadi bisa dilakukan dengan rupiah instead of dolar gitu misalnya karena kita fleksibel dan kita juga punya tim managed service sendiri yang memonitor 24 jam. Oke. Nah, sekarang mungkin ada pertanyaan gimana sih kita bisa mengimplementasikan solusi Workato di bisnis proses kita saat ini. Bapak Ibu bisa buka GS Catalyst gscatalist.com. Jadi itu adalah websitenya GS Catalyst. Saya izin tunjukkan. Nah, ya. Jadi ini adalah website GS Catalyst di mana Bapak Ibu bisa melihat 100 lebih dari partner kami, ada 100 lebih, dan melihat solusi-solusi produk-produk yang dimiliki. Contohnya adalah Workato, Bapak dan Ibu bisa akses produknya Workato di sini, mana yang kira-kira mau diimplementasikan ke usaha Bapak dan Ibu. Bapak dan Ibu bisa request private offer dari kami dengan cara klik misalnya Workato One. Nah, Bapak Ibu tinggal isi data-data, uh, request private offer dengan cloud apa, bisa dengan AWS, GCP, Alibaba, Huawei, Tencent juga, tapi kita akan assess lagi mana yang kompatibel ya. Uh, atau kalau misalnya nggak ada gambaran atau belum ada gambaran bisa private offer with others. Lalu di sini bisa dijelaskan kebutuhan apa yang Bapak Ibu inginkan dari Workato One ini lalu akan dikirimkan ke kita. Nah, dari sini tim kami akan langsung hubungi Bapak dan Ibu dan melihat mempelajari bagaimana kita bisa melakukan integrasi ini gitu. Karena biasanya nggak cuma sekedar dipasangin Workato aja gitu karena ada banyak yang harus dilakukan kayak kayak migrasi data gitu. Tambahan security. Nah, itu bisa kita kita lakukan dari situ. Nah, mungkin kembali lagi ke slide saya. Sebagai penutup dari sesi ini, saya mengajak Bapak dan Ibu yang tertarik untuk free session 30 menit konsultasi untuk mengevaluasi bisnis proses Bapak dan Ibu saat ini dan ada opportunity apa yang bisa kita improve dengan Workato, dengan otomasi gitu. Lalu kita juga akan sediakan 30 menit sesi executive briefing untuk Bapak dan Ibu decision maker yang pengen lihat ROI dari investasi Bapak dan Ibu melakukan otomasi ini. Dan ini semua free. Bapak dan Ibu tinggal schedule, hubungi kami di admin@gskatalis.com atau bisa buka websitenya GS Catalyst, gskatalis.com/about us. Tenang, ini nanti saya kopas di chat biar Bapak dan Ibu bisa buka langsung. Sekian dari kami. Sekali lagi, apabila ada pertanyaan atau ada request, bisa langsung hubungi di admin@gskatalis.com atau https://gskatalis.com/about us. Baik, dari sini mungkin banyak yang udah mau bertanya tadi. Jadi saya kembalikan ke Mbak Yana. Silakan Mbak Yana.
Thank you very much, Mas Elmo. Very informatif juga. Jadi, Mas Elmo menyampaikan a little bit produk dari Workato, bagaimana ICS, tepatnya GS Catalyst Team bisa nantinya memprovide service for Workato produk, dan juga bagaimana caranya Bapak dan Ibu membeli, atau mungkin mengimplementasikan produk Workato di perusahaan Bapak Ibu. Dan juga, thank you so much, Pragya. You already answered all the questions. So actually, we should have a question and answer sessions where you are talking about your answer. But thank you very much. You already answered almost all the questions from the registrant, from the participant. Thank you. So maybe let me skip the Q&A sessions. Also for Mas Elmo, thank you very much, Mas Elmo. But for today, it's all focused for Workato, Mas Elmo. So you had not got any question. But the thing is, maybe question from me ya. The thing is, you mention tadi Mas Elmo mention bahwa kita dan Workato itu partneran, kita bisa memprovide service-nya dan kita bisa membeli produk Workato itu di GS Catalyst. Tapi mungkin di awal Mas, mungkin ada beberapa industri atau beberapa customer nih Bapak Ibu dan sekalian bertanya nih, oh kayaknya di tim saya butuh juga nih. Atau tim saya mungkin butuh nggak ya? Jadi kayak masih ada kebingungan. Itu supposed to be kita mulai dari HR-nya kah, dari finance-nya kah, atau mungkin ada spesifik tim yang mungkin supposed to be dari awal itu kita tanya tim ini dulu. Jadi kayak konsultansinya itu supposed to be mulai dari mana ya Mas?
Oke, Uh, ya, makasih Mbak Yana. Ya, ini jadi jadi apa namanya untuk menjawab itu mana duluan, apakah mulai dari HR duluan atau finance duluan, itu case by case sebenarnya. Nah, untuk menemukan case by case itu, dari tim kita itu akan consult dulu sama Bapak dan Ibu. Nah, jadi untuk konsultansi ini, Bapak dan Ibu bisa hubungi kami langsung di yang tadi saya kirimkan. Nah, ini saya taruh di chat ya, untuk referensi. Nah, di mana kita akan melakukan konsultasi gitu. Either dari tim professional service kami atau tim consulting kami gitu. Sesuai dengan use case kasus-kasusnya Bapak dan Ibu. Makanya akan sangat lebih baik kalau misalnya Bapak dan Ibu menjelaskan dari awal kebutuhannya itu apa, yang mau dicapai itu apa gitu. Nanti kita bakal bisa susun tim yang bagus dan bisa langsung mengundang workatonya juga gitu untuk lebih lanjut. Baik, mungkin lumayan clear ya, Mbak Yana.
Oke, thank you so much Mas Elmo atas jawabannya. Jadi nantinya mungkin saya mohon izin dulu nih kepada Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, apabila mungkin setelah ini, setelah webinar, tim marketing atau tim sales saya akan mencoba untuk approach Bapak Ibu untuk bisa menanyakan kelanjutan nih. Apabila possibility Bapak dan Ibu ingin tahu lebih lanjut mengenai Workato, mengenai JS Catalyst, mengenai kolaborasi antara Workato dan ICS Compute, itu mohon bantuannya Bapak dan Ibu apabila di reach out oleh teman-teman marketing atau sales, bisa mungkin dijawab atau mungkin direspon ya Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Oke, terima kasih banyak. Thank you very much Mas Elmo, Pragya, for all the information, for all the product information, product knowledge, and also the collaboration that you already showed to us. So this is the last session because Q&A session already answered, already done via chat. Um, Mungkin mohon bantuannya Bapak dan Ibu dan rekan-rekan sekalian untuk bisa membuka kameranya. Jadi kita akan mengambil foto bersama sebagai bukti, sebagai bukti, sebagai sebuah memori. Nanti juga video ini, webinar ini kita akan upload di YouTube GS Catalyst. Jadi mungkin Bapak dan Ibu misalnya joinnya agak telat atau mungkin pengen tahu lagi nih mengenai Workato dari awal dan join GS Catalyst dari awal, bisa kunjungi YouTube GS Catalyst. Kalau bisa di-follow. Sini saya ini ya, di-follow, di-subscribe, mungkin centang hijau, enggak centang hijau ya, ini YouTube ya, mohon maaf. Bell ringing jika ada mungkin ada webinar video baru itu bisa nanti ditonton kali ya seperti itu. Oke, I think all the people already show. Oke, all good. Thank you very much, Pragya, Terence. Thank you very much. Mas Elmo, terima kasih banyak. Dan Bapak dan Ibu sekalian, terima kasih banyak atas kehadirannya. Last but not the least, kita akan showing feedback form. Seperti yang saya mention di awal. Kita sangat membutuhkan saran, suggestions, komen dari Bapak dan Ibu sekalian untuk bisa membuatkan webinar-webinar menarik in the future. We need your suggestions, maybe your comment regarding today webinars or future webinars, what kind of theme or title that might be interesting to you to join again, to come again to our webinars. This is our feedback form. Mohon bantuannya untuk bisa diisi. Sampaikan semua yang perlu disampaikan. Mungkin ada keluh kesahnya pada webinarnya, webinar hari ini, webinar sebelumnya, atau harapan untuk webinar ke depannya. Sangat mohon bantuannya untuk Bapak Ibu untuk mengisi feedback form ini. Thank you very much for panitia untuk feedback formnya. Last but not the least, saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih banyak kepada Bapak dan Ibu sekalian sudah hadir dari awal sampai akhir, sudah memberikan pertanyaan, sudah fokus mendengar produk update dari Pragya, dari Workato, dari Mas Elmo, dan JS Catalyst. Thank you very much, Pragya, and also Terence, for your support on this webinar. Thank you very much, Mas Elmo, for your informative informations for us, and thank you so much for all of participants for today's webinar. More or less, lebih dan kurang, saya mohon maaf. Have a nice day dan selamat siang. Terima
Thank you.
kasih.
Bye-bye.